Hey guys, this is Julian again. Let me adjust that. We're back in Ableton here. This is the Write a Comprehensive Track from Scratch project. And I was listening to it earlier, and I just have a few adjustments I want to make first and foremost. Let's just play it back to listen to what we got here. If you haven't followed the series, you can click on the annotation in the upper this way, and it'll take you back to the first episode. So here we go. Okay, cool. So for the first thing, I'm gonna remove the bass in the beginning. I'm not feeling that. Second of all, let's add some secondary hats so we don't have just a boom tskats. We want a boom tskats. So we have a double hat. So what we're gonna do to do that, as you can see, Live supplies you with two of these already. We're gonna delete the reverb. And these are return tracks, by the way. If you want to make a new one, you can right click and insert return track. But I'm just going to use the one we have here. We're going to set the delay time to 1, and we're going to set the dry wet all the way up. Make sure that's all the way up. We're going to put the feedback a little bit higher than it is. Now, if you don't know what a return track is, it's essentially, if you have this track playing, say, and you want this track to punch all the way through the mix, but you also want it to have some reverb on it. But you don't want that reverb to affect that track. But you also want the track to have it. So let's say you turn the dry wet halfway up. You're still getting half of that reverb overtaking that signal. But what a send does is essentially it duplicates that channel and sends only this duplicate to the reverb. So this is what we're going to do right now. We're going to do it with a hat, and we're going to do it to the delay channel. So right here where it says INF, or in session view where it has this knob, we're going to drag this up so we send a duplicate of this hat track to that delay send. So let's turn it up to, I'd say, -3, and let's solo that and give it a play. So, on the other hand, we would have just that, but we are going to add some delay, but we don't want it to affect the main track, so we're going to send it on a delay bus. So we're going to put this at -3 like we had it, and play. Another advantage of doing a send is that you can affect the send independently from the main track. So say you want the reverb to only affect, I don't know, 200 hertz and above, you can cut all the low frequencies out of it and leave the main track unmodified. So we're going to go to the delay channel. We're going to do just that. We're going to go to the audio effects. We're going to drag some EQ in there. We're going to do a high shelf, and we're going to disable these two EQ bands. We're going to turn this all the way up so we only have the high end, so we aren't getting any low interference. We're going to do a little bit of a top cut, actually, so that we aren't getting interference with the main hit. So it's going to go so it hits one time really hard, and then the rest of the time it's kind of softer. So let's hear this right now. There we go. And let's throw some reverb on here just to clean it up. Turn it to high quality. We're going to turn off all this extra. Let's play it. Turn the decay time down a little bit. Now we have like a little kind of a... Okay. So now let's play those drums together. So I'm going to work on the mix of this a little bit. Let's turn that clap down. Turn that kick up to 0. Clap down even more. Hat down. Turn the drums up in total. And let's actually do some compression on that drum bus. What I like to do is grab a glue compressor and put it on the bus as a total to house all of the drums together. We're going to turn that threshold down a little bit to start. Excuse me. We're going to play it. Just going to experiment with some different compression levels here. Just to find one that glues it all together. So the next thing we're going to want to do, now I think the drums sound fine, is let's tune that bass up a little bit. So let's give that bass a play. I think it's a little bit short, so I'm going to make this a little bit longer. And give this a little bit more high. And last but not least, let's give it let's see. Let's turn this up an octave and see how that sounds. I liked it before, but I'm kind of not feeling it now. No, I still like it. Okay, let's give it some release time. Let's turn that up a little bit. So it's not so... And then let's give the main some release time too, so that it kind of fades out a little bit more. Okay, that works a little bit better, I think. Let's add the saw back in. A little bit too much. Let's give that a play. Cool. I think we need a sub bass actually to layer under here. So we're going to copy that break bass synth, which is that sub, and let's actually just lengthen this out, and we're going to delete the notes we have here, and we're going to write a sub line underneath of that. If you're on headphones that aren't like these, which actually hear it, or if you're on laptop speakers, you most likely won't hear this part, so you might want to skip ahead. So let's draw in a note. I can't even hear that. Yeah, this might actually be easier if I copy the bass line and then lengthen out the notes. So let's just do that. It's a little bit too low now. And let's actually extend these notes so they'll be longer, because they're a little bit short right now. Okay, we're just gonna make all of these the same length here, and what we're gonna do is a side chain. If you don't know what a side chain is, I'll explain it in a moment. So the next thing we have is cool. Now that sub bass is under there. Let's actually rename this sub bass so that we don't get it confused later. Let's drag that up and actually color this something else, like a red. Or yellow is better, I think. So next thing we're gonna want to do is actually I think this is a little bit high. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, let's do a side chain. To do a side chain, all we're going to do is we're going to copy this kick track by hitting duplicate. We're going to move this out of the drum bus because we don't want it to be affected by that compressor. And then we're going to color this, I'm going to say black so that we know it's irrelevant. We're going to rename this chain. What we're going to do is we're going to put it, we're going to set it to silent. So to do that, we go to I/O, we go to master, and we do sends only. So it's only sending data, it's not actually audible. And what we're going to do is we're going to now we're going to sidechain everything to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab first and foremost the sub bass, like I was saying earlier. We're going to put a compressor on it. We're going to go into this tab here where the arrow is. I don't know if you can even see that. Let me see if I can move my here. And we're going to hit sidechain. We're going to hit audio from, and we're going to do chain. And what we're going to do now is we're going to set the threshold a little bit low. So if we solo that sub, we can get like it kind of pulsates. We're going to set that even lower. Set the ratio a little bit high because as a sub we aren't going to get any interference. So I think that's fine for now. Let's add the bass in that. I'm not feeling that bass. Let's put that at one octave above. Let me rename my camera here. And the thing about sound design is it's all about playing with the synth. It's how you develop your sounds, and it's how you gain the skills to learn how to do them in the future. Cool, that sounds pretty good. Let's put the drums with it. I think the chaining's a little bit more, actually. Sounding a little bit more like it. Let's do some processing on that kick real quick. So today's episode is very, very mix and master oriented. So we're going to do a compressor on that kick. I actually did a video on this as well. If you want to check that out, you can click on the annotation up in the side. It's focused on drums. So if we set the threshold low, and we want the attack to be high, but we don't want it to be too high, so we get the initial thwack of the drum, but we don't get all that excess. So we only want it to hit and then cut off. So I turn the attack a little bit low. I think that might be fine for now. We might change that kick drum sample in the future. When I'm writing a track, it's a lot about redoing things later. By the same token, let's process that. Make sure all the drums are processed as well. Okay, so we already did the clap and the hat. Okay, cool. Next thing we do, let's listen to this again. One thing I like to do is to pan my hats from left to right very fast. It kind of adds a stereo image to it. To do that, we're going to do a simple ping pong delay. Or I'm sorry, not a ping pong delay. What am I thinking? A auto pan, and we're going to set the amount high, and we're going or relatively high, and then we're going to set the mode to notes, and we're going to set it to quarter notes. So it kind of bounces between ears now. Cool, that's sounding a lot better. Let's make sure all the mix is fine in the drop and the breakdown rather. That part's a little bit loud. I'm going to cut that down a little bit by lowering this build bus volume. And to give this part a little bit more energy, we're going to turn that saw up a little bit. Give it a little bit of release time. Let's see if that works. Sometimes some things I do don't work, and we'll have to try something else. Looks like Serum just crashed. Okay, there we go. It's back. Okay, to add to this, I think we're going to add a few notes to this saw here. Sometimes the sound design is not the most important thing about your chorus or whatever. To make it sound big, a lot of people like to add reverb and stuff, but the best thing to do is to work out the melody so it sounds bigger, and work with the volume. Reverb only adds to the sound, but it doesn't make it sound big inadvertently. Okay, so here we go. Go ahead and duplicate that and drag it over. Oops. To actually hold the Alt or Control key and drag it over, and we're going to do the same thing with these notes here. Ableton's freezing up because I'm not using Audio. Cool, and let's actually just whoops. Here we are. Let's drag these up. Cool, and then we need a lower octave as well. Add a bit of a sub octave there. Let's actually clean up some of that reverb, it's a bit much. Cool. And we need a bit of a lead for the chorus. I don't think this is actually a lead. I think this is more of a sliding bass. We need a high lead to go along with that saw we have now. And we're going to save that for next time. We're at 25 minutes here, or I think 26 actually. So let's just play it all the way through one more time, and we will write the lead next time. So here we are. This part's only temporary too. We're going to work on that. Cool, that's sounding good. Make sure we save it. We're going to Control S and save just to make sure. And thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you disliked it, dislike it. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, and subscribe for more videos like this. I do a video every Wednesday and Friday. I do vlogs, I do tutorials, unboxings, everything media. So thank you for watching again. I will see you guys next time.